I think it is important that we understand how important it is that we notice what our responsibility is and what God's responsibility is. Making you is God's responsibility, but making you have things in your life is your responsibility. How far you go in life is your responsibility, but God gives you life. That is His responsibility. Now, it's so important that we can differentiate between these things. Hello and welcome to a moment with the Bishop. Thank you so much for deciding to spend this moment with me. For today's episode, I want us to hang around. One of my favorite texts is in Genesis chapter 1, verse number 26. It says, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." It's important that we understand that God did not make man so that God would dominate man. God did not make man so that he will rule man. Rather, God made man so that man will have dominion. This is what it means. It means that if God made us in his image, then God didn't have in mind to do everything for man. But God had in mind to make man so that man would be able to do things for the glory of God. So God made man to be in his image, and God fitted man with certain things, certain abilities, certain opportunities, so that man would do things, and anybody that sees it would know that there is an intelligent designer, there is a creator that made man to be able to do these things. The most important thing for me is this. It means that we need to know what our responsibility is and what God's responsibility is. If you don't know that, you would think what is your responsibility should be God's responsibility. For instance, when it is time to pay your child's school fees, that is your responsibility. That is not God's responsibility. So you can't decide to shirk that responsibility and expect that God will do that. When it is time to heal your son of a disease, that will be God's responsibility, because he has the ability to work through you through medical means to heal your son. I think it is important that we understand how important it is that we notice what our responsibility is and what God's responsibility is. Making you is God's responsibility, but making you have things in your life is your responsibility. How far you go in life is your responsibility, but God gives you life. That is his responsibility. Now, it's so important that we can differentiate between these things. Let me run you through a couple of things. For instance, God gives you life, but you decide your experiences, what you will do with that life, what you will do with, whether you will live a good life, whether you live a bad life. That is your responsibility. God gives you abilities, but it is your choice to decide what possessions, what achievements you would make. The abilities God gave you, the giftings God gave you, it is your responsibility to decide to develop those abilities, to make something out of your life, to make something great out of your life. God gives you his image, but it is your responsibility to create the personality that will come out of your life. You will decide what people will think about you, how people should see you, but God gives you his image. You must make a decision as to what to do with it. It is so important to understand God gives you a will, but you will decide what to do with that will. Would you do the right thing? Would you do the wrong thing? It is all your choice. I think it is important we understand that everything that God does, for instance, God will decide to make you his own, but you will decide what things you make your own. You cannot go and take what is for somebody. It is your will to work hard and get into your own. Remember, there is always your responsibility and there is God's responsibility. If you don't know this, you will think that it is God's responsibility to make you happy in life. It is God's responsibility to make you rich in life. But this is what happens. God gives you a dream, but it is your responsibility to wake up from the dream and fulfill it so that everybody will see your good work and give glory to the God that made you. Well, thank you for spending this moment with me. I want you to know that you are blessed. So stay blessed.